Hey YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy here. We're also going to have a quick look at some of the stories in the papers about the Mars pyramid very quickly, and some of the things that NASA have been saying. First of all, I'm going to quickly show you this image, Sol 735 Curiosity image. This is the Gigapan site, as you can see, MSL 735. There's the number at the top, and let's zoom in. Let's make it full screen first, if it will let me. Okay, here we go. Now there's a couple of things in this image. Now there's what looks to be like a little statue, which may or may not be, don't really know, and I can't remember where it is. Where the hell is it? But before we look at that, there's blatant evidence here that NASA are faking the sand in some areas, in certain parts of these images, to cover things up, and we have, I think, a very good example of that here. Now there's this quite large rock here, which is probably a few foot, probably only a few foot wide. Looks large, but it's probably not that big at all. But look at the sand just below it here, and how it looks like it's been pasted in just here, this whole area. So there may well have been something very interesting here that they didn't want us to see, and they basically copy and pasted some sand from probably another part of the image, and then just pasted over it, because I really can't see how this scene of sand could actually go up against this rock like that. I mean, it's just, I mean, it probably did to a point. It probably came to about here, where this line is here. See that line? That's probably where it came to before. And you can see, if you look at the color, it looks very patchy and obfuscated. You can look at these kind of patchy, weird sort of blocks in there. I mean, that to me looks like it's been faked. But there was something right next to it which I thought was pretty cool. It looks like a little skull. Just here, tiny little thing. This could be a little tiny monkey or something. It may just be a rock that looks like one. It could be pareidolia, as they keep saying. Everything's pareidolia. Look out the window and see a car. Is that pareidolia? No, it's a car. But if it's on Mars, everything is pareidolia, of course. Our ability to recognize things means we're not allowed to recognize them, and no one's allowed to take us seriously. Right, okay. But yeah, I mean, this may well be a rock, but it seems to have like two eyes, a little nose there, and a little mouth here with some little teeth. I'll quickly clip these out and put them in at the end of the video for you. I'll try and enhance that a bit. It may or may not be. Until I enhance it, I can't really say either way, really. As with a lot of these things, they're fairly ambiguous, and it's difficult to see whether they are or not, because they're usually either very small, or they've been obfuscated and the image has been largely damaged by NASA, and it's impossible to say either way, which is probably why they do it in the first place, so that we cannot be too definite about the things we're seeing. Right, here he is. Sorry about that, I got a bit lost there. It's quite small. This is another thing found by Rami. He put this up on Facebook yesterday, I think, and it looks like a little statue head. Perhaps it may not be, of course, but it seems to have a little nose there, and a mouth here, a chin, and a sort of head dress or helmet or something here. Don't know about this one. This is quite small. When you zoom out, you'll see how small it is. It's right near the top of the image. It's a fair distance away. I mean, it's probably a good 25 feet away from the rover at least, and it's probably only about 3 or 4 inches wide, possibly smaller. It's not much more bigger than that, really. So who knows? I'll do an enhancement clip of this and put it at the end. But it does seem to have eyes there, nose and a mouth and a chin and an ear just there, and some sort of helmet or hat. And this may be part of a helmet here. Who knows? I mean, I have found quite a few statues in the area, and other people have as well. But the ones I've normally published are much clearer than this. So this is a kind of in between one. Not really sure about that. But interesting, I thought, anyway. So that was that. As I said, there'll be clips of these at the end of the video, and we can have a closer look and see if we can get any more detail out of these things. Right, so the other thing was, that I was going to mention, was the fact that the rover has missed a whole 24 days worth of images. Now, if you look here, this is the main page, the multimedia raw images page from the Curiosity rover mission. And we have here, if you look at the mass cam, in fact, you look at any of the cams, there's a huge gap between Sol 1003 and 1027. That's 24 days. That's nearly, well, it's over 3 weeks. And if you look at any of the cameras, you would find the same. There's a huge gap. There's another one here, look. 1004, 1027. You know, so basically, they've withheld a whole load of images since Sol 1003. Now, what was found in and around 1003 that has made them do that? Now, I wonder whether it's something to do with this thing, the pyramid on Mars that we published a week or two ago. Now, I was the first to get this on YouTube, actually, and Rami spotted it initially and put it on Facebook. I put it on YouTube, and then Paranormal Crucible did a version of it as well, which got over 1.8 million views and was in all the press across the world, which was stunning. I mean, that was just amazing. And this was a huge global smash, this particular thing. And basically, I actually think, now if you look at the sols leading up to Sol 1003, this is Sol 1003. Now, for about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, they were sat right here in this area staring at this thing that looks to me like a square paving slab like you would see on the street. It's got a right angle corner here, it's got another right angle just here, and there's another one there. I mean, this may be natural, and there's lots of other kind of broken shale rock and volcanic rock and sediment here, which is all just like broken up and stuff, you know. I mean, this was the bottom of a river, or lake I should say. So, excuse me, it looks to me like a square paving slab. Now, it may be natural, but why would they spend weeks sat here staring at it if it wasn't something interesting? I mean, they weren't just staring at this. I mean, there's multiple cameras on the rover, so they were taking images all the way round. And what they may have done is actually seen some of our videos that were posted, and maybe saw. I mean, this may have happened before this got into the press, I don't know, but they may have seen some of the things that we'd found recently, not just this pyramid, but there are others as well. Maybe they thought, oh, we'll go back and have a look at it, because they would have literally only had to have moved a few meters to go back and have a closer look, and maybe dig a hole or drill some holes in the pyramid or next to it. And maybe they dug underneath it. There was this one also. Let's pause that. That's only a few days before, or a week or so further back. I mean, so there's been a couple of these pyramidal structures found recently, and I think they may have gone to have a closer look after seeing what we posted up on YouTube and places like that. They may have thought, oh, let's go and have a look, and they've withdrawn the images, which I think is highly suspicious. So you've got this 24-day gap between sols with nothing, absolutely nothing. So that, to me, I've never noticed that happen before with the rover. It's extraordinary. I mean, there was a period a while back, about a year ago, where they sort of shut it down a bit, just for a few days, but that was only a few days. I think they had a few problems with the arm or something. It wasn't that long ago, actually. It was fairly recently. But they were still taking photos. Not very many, but they were still taking some. So I find that very, very odd indeed. And the pyramid thing, there was a statement that this is what was cool about the pyramid object, is that NASA felt the need to actually make a statement to the public, which was in all the press. This is from the Examiner site here. This quote was in all the newspapers, and all the newspapers around this story. Jim Bell, who's professor of planetary science at Arizona State University and member of Mars rover exploration team, says that it's rather unlikely that Martians built a standing structure like the pyramids found in ancient Egypt. In an interview with USA Today Network, Bell confirmed that the image was a pyramid-like formation, but noted that natural formations with smooth, even pyramidal sides can be a result of erosion. Right. Perfect pyramids made by erosion. What? So the wind had to blow exactly from each direction to erode it equally? I don't think so. He says it's not all that uncommon for natural formations to appear as recognisable objects. The human eye is good at recognising familiar shapes or human features in random objects. And it goes on about pareidolia and the usual crap you get given, all the swamp gas kind of nonsense. But this is a little bit more sympathetic than a lot of the articles on this thing here. So there we go. I mean, I just thought that was rather odd that they had, not only did they feel the need to come out and make a statement, and also in other newspapers it did say that the reason they put out these images is that, so they think that maybe one day some school kid might find a fossil or something, and then they would publish it and announce life on Mars. But I really can't see that. I mean, would they take me seriously if I pretended to be a school kid and lied about my age and stuff? You know, would they recognise the fossils and skulls and multiple statue heads and very clear anomalies that I found, and lots of other people have seen them as well. I mean, this isn't one of the greatest examples of recent times, but anyone who's been on my channel will know that there are hundreds and hundreds of these things, and NASA very rarely actually make a statement unless it's something like the traffic light, which they also said was natural, which looks completely unnatural. There are many things, and they look blatantly manufactured, a lot of these things, and are not just easily explained away by pareidolia, because I mean, pareidolia does exist. We know it does. I like to call it matrixing or something like that, where we do see familiar shapes in things, but that doesn't explain a lot of the things we're seeing, because basically these are three-dimensional objects. They have shadows. They're not clouds. These are solid objects, and basically what the scientific fraternity are trying to say is that people like us are not qualified to identify things, even if, like me, you've done sculpture and you've been a portrait artist for donkey's years, and used to work with three-dimensional models and three-dimensional stuff as well. When I see a statue, I see a statue. As far as I'm concerned, I know about statues. I know about art. I've done. Check out some of my other videos recently. I mean, there's if you haven't already, this one here, Gods of Mars and Earth. There's a whole bunch of the statues in there compared back to back. And I go into some detail about the art and the possible facial differences as well. So check that out if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.